Right. So, Danny, first of all, let's get the bad news out of the way first, then, shall we? Well, Shimanga was having his operation yesterday. Can you update us on the latest state of play with him?
Well, apparently it was a successful operation, which was great. We always sort of thought it would be. We spoke to him yesterday before the operation. He was in good spirits, and I think that's the main thing at this time, sort of his mental state, because it's not just it's dented a blow in our promotion push, but the lad wants to play football and he's not able to do that through no fault of his own. So all our thoughts with him, as I'm sure all the fans are, and fans of other clubs. Some of the messages have been lovely, but as it stands, the operation was successful, and in his mind now, it's all about starting that first step on the road to recovery.
And do you as a club know yet how long that recovery might take?
No, I think after obviously they have the operation, they say it's a success, then they'll probably give it a week or two and assess the injury again and see if things are started the healing process, I guess. I think for him, if I was in Cabs' shoes, you're thinking, right, pre-season's my time to start again. That's not me saying he can't be any sooner or it won't be later, but as from a player's point of view, that's what I would think, because before you know it now, the season's going to be finished. So that time frame in your head isn't as long as what it was when you're probably in that ambulance going to Dorchester Hospital down in Weymouth last week, where he probably thought time stood still. So there is light at the end of the tunnel for the lad.
It's probably more of a mental challenge than a physical one right now, isn't it, when you're getting your head around all of this?
Definitely. I think, for any player, it's heartbreaking for them, to be able to stop playing football for no fault of their own. But when you're having such a great season, and he just plays with a smile on his face, and everyone loves him, off the pitch, on the pitch, he's so popular. It's gut-wrenching and heartbreaking. So it's tough for him. It's tough, but as I say, he's got a good support network, and at the minute he seems in as good spirits as he possibly can be.
So hopefully in the next couple of weeks, because I would imagine the idea of nailing down a time is a focal point, isn't it? Even if that moves back, and I assume there's a frustration with that, but if you think he's going to be out for 6 weeks, 6 months, 9 months, there is a date within that to focus on. Yeah,
and I think because the word pre-season is quite a broad phrase, for the lad, that's, I can only say what I would do in his shoes. If you aim for that pre-season, then it's a fresh start, fresh season, and you can support the lads until that period. If you do come back before, great. If you don't, it's not the end of the world. You've got to make sure he comes back even stronger and fitter than he was before he got injured.
I suppose the nuts and bolts question is that given his importance to the team, where do the goals come from now?
Well, I think when someone's not in the team who scores more than a goal a game, people have to step up. That's how it is, whether it be centre-halves from corners or the other forwards filling his boots or midfielders running on. We've got to do it. I think I said yesterday, you can't, when these things come, you always know there's going to be speed bumps in a season to win it. This isn't a speed bump, this is a humongous hurdle we've got to climb over. So that's life, we've got to crack on with it. We're in a good position. If we were down the bottom of the league and our main striker got injured and we go, oh no, we're still in a good position. Is it a big blow? Of course it is, for us and the player. But we've got some good players, and now it's up to them for those who are called upon, come on, give it your best and help us get over the line.
I suppose in a positive sense, Asante's come back, he's started to find his feet in a relatively short space of time. He's started scoring goals again after his long-term injury, and prior to that, he was knocking in goals.
Yeah, I think so, and I think it's going to take, as you see, there's times where you think, oh, Quasi, he's not quite there yet, so it's time to leave him on the bench like we have before. Now he starts and he's getting his match time and his match minutes, his confidence, he's getting it up. I think even at Weymouth, I thought, as much as the performance wasn't great, could have been 3-0 up at half-time, and Quasi had one of those good chances. So we've got some good players to come in and fill the boots, and we're just looking forward to tomorrow to see those lads, step up to the plate.
Generally speaking then, Shimanga aside of course, sadly, is everybody else all right after Weymouth?
Yeah, injury-wise, yes, bar one or two, which I'm sure we'll talk about in a bit, but mentally was the big thing really. I think it's horrible when you see your teammate and the sort of injury it is where the leg doesn't look like it's meant to be. It's not nice, and there's a lot of anger at that time when you see that there's no punishment for the tackle, and things just go on as normal. You think that's not fair, it's not right. But once the anger and that bitterness goes out of you, it's okay, let's start the healing process with him. The lads, obviously, it was a very sombre journey home from Weymouth, but they're all in good spirits now, knowing that he's okay and ready to go tomorrow.
Has anything from the club been said about the lack of punishment there? Because you can upgrade and degrade in circumstances, can't you? Has the club been in touch with the National League about whether there should be some kind of punishment?
No, we haven't discussed with the manager. It's been a very busy week for lots of reasons with the manager yet about, you do reports in the game and the FA get reports of what you think. We haven't done that yet on the Weymouth, so I'm sure we'll sit down and talk about that. The big thing I said, like you hear managers say on Match Today every week, is that the consistency word. You just want a little bit of consistency, really, because you think, okay, if we have 11 men at Stockport, we win. If we have 11 men including cabs at Weymouth, you win. That's 4 more points. It's all ifs and buts and maybes. But so sooner or later with football, you have to lose that anger and that bitterness, and you have to go, right, it's got to get on with it now. You have to beat loads of things in this league to win it. You have to beat pitches, you have to beat bad decisions, you have to beat injuries, you have to beat opposition. Nothing's changed. Football hasn't changed. So we've got to go out tomorrow against a very tough Solihull team with a few things against us. A lot of people from the outside will be looking at us, just like the Eastleigh game, going, okay, it's their time to slip up. We have to make sure we don't do that.
So the injuries that you alluded to then that are a concern at this stage, who's another doubt for Solihull then?
Manny Oyeleke, he'll be out tomorrow. I think he's torn his calf, so that'll be a while. So that's not ideal. Apart from that, there's a few knocks and bruises, but everyone else should be fine. Lawrence Maguire is back in the equation, which is positive. And so it's 1 out, 1 in, so to speak, or 2 out and 1 in, and gives it, as I say, we've got a good squad. There's no point building a squad and not utilising it, or building a squad and then moaning that we haven't got enough squad players, because we have. So we'll be all right. We'll be all right.
A while with Oyeleke with you guys, I'm almost loath to ask, what does a while mean with Chesterfield?
As it stands, I say, you'd have to liaise with the medical department. I would say at least 4 to 6 weeks.
So that's another. Chesterfield as a football club haven't done short-term niggly injuries for 18 months, and a lot of them are all impact injuries, aren't they? It's not necessarily a training thing. Yeah,
the manager, first thing he said, he's looked at the injury list and just, wow, that's been a recurring theme. And like I say, we have to make sure that once we finish this season and hopefully have got that promotion, then we can all sit down and go, right, the club's got to make sure that this doesn't happen again, because there's been a lot of injuries and too many injuries. Some have been, obviously bad tackles or what have you, and some have been muscle injuries, etc. And it's just important that we try not to let that happen again. If it does, it does, but we can't just sweep that under the carpet.
Is it something that can be looked at in recruitment, whether players were signed and their records might have been questionable? I realise you can't do anything about bad tackles.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
the deeper issues maybe in looking deeper at players' records. I don't know.
Maybe, as I say, I've had no part in the recruitment process really. But I think there's so many factors going into it. I think at the moment we've just got to make sure that the ones we've got fit stay fit. The ones that are likely to back within weeks come back within weeks and no longer, and then all of a sudden you've got a nice healthy number to choose from again. But so far, that like today we'll have our squad training with the manager and myself, that they'll be involved tomorrow, and they're all raring to go.
So Paul Cook's first full week in charge of the team. What changes? What tweaks? What's happened? What's he done this week?
Yeah, it's been good. It's been positive. It's been really good. I think for this week, he just a bit like towards the end of last week, just really wants to get to know the place. He's made a few changes around the building and the vibe and that, and it's been really good. He's the 2 days he's taken training this week, full training's been really good. The lads understand what he wants from tomorrow, the way we want to play in possession, out of possession. Everything's done with a sense of positivity, but also a sense of we've got to work here. We want to get promotion. His big thing is he's coming here to get us over the line, to sort of guide us and the club into where we want to get to. And I myself can, and speak for all the staff and players that we're enjoying it so much so far.
Having seen Paul Cook's tenure the last time he was at Chesterfield, he was very much a kind of four at the back kind of man. There was a great degree of possession-based football. Can Chesterfield fans maybe expect something similar going forward here?
I think so. I think he obviously we've played three at the back all season, been hugely successful, and that's what he said himself. So I don't think he'd want to come in and go straight changes like that straight away. I think he knows he's got a good set of players here. Everyone knows already the way he wants to play. There's a lot of factors sometimes. The pitches, you can like Weymouth, the pitches were so bobbly, and it's hard to sort of play that free flowing football that we all want to play. But he's an experienced, successful manager who's got different ways of winning football games, and I for one, I can't wait to learn how that is.
Yeah, and to follow on from that, look, I mean, how pleased are you that you're going to be part of this project in the long term going forward?
Absolutely over the moon, over the moon. I keep saying it. It's probably the happiest time of my life in terms of football, playing or coaching. Even the last few weeks as being the interim manager, it's been a joy. The lads have worked their absolute socks off for me and the club and the town. And they've got a manager in it who everyone adores, who's got a track record, who's been nothing but welcoming and warm to all our staff. So for me to tie myself down for another year and a half is fantastic, because I myself now can just really focus on being at this club.
Does it whet your appetite for the top job one day? Somewhere, anywhere?
Yeah, I don't know really. I mean, I think when I first, we've all got our hard luck stories in football or in life. And for me, when I came up here initially, I just wanted to enjoy my day-to-day work. I wanted to enjoy the people I work for, the players. I wanted to enjoy their company, And what's nice is that the manager that's come in now is a pleasure to work for as well. Plus the board, plus the players, the fans are great. So I just want to enjoy myself. Just want to enjoy me coming in day to day, and whatever happens in the future happens. But to be Paul Cook's assistant at the minute is really, really good for me.
Tomorrow then, an event and a football match, full crowd pretty much expected. I mean, the town's really got behind this, haven't they? It will be a near sellout, if not a full sellout at the stadium tomorrow. How amazing is that?
It's great. I mean, when it's only 4,500 here, 5,000, it's rocking, And I think tomorrow we've even got the stand behind the other goal, apparently. I think so. That shows how many people are going to be here, and it's great. It's great for the town. There's been a lot of, since Paul's left, there's been a lot of negativity, really. I suppose a few relegations, which is going to bring negativity, of course. But with the trust and the way the club's run now, with the club at heart and his interests at heart and the fans' interests at heart, it's a great time. It's a great time to support us. We're second in the league. Still a long way to go. We're all pushing for that #1 spot. If there's 8,000 or 9,000 here tomorrow, that'd be fantastic.
How much of a golden opportunity is the next couple of weeks then? Look, 5 home matches, 2 of which are against sides that are up there. Solihull, the first of them, they're just off that particular pace. You can really set your stall out here for maybe the title push again.
I think tomorrow it'd be a great way to kick off the 5 games with a win. Obviously, that's stating the obvious. You get them, then Wrexham, massive. Yeovil on telly, different type of game. Notts County, Southend are flying. Then Bournemouth away. It doesn't get easier, So we know that we could be playing 5 teams who are down the bottom. But you've seen Saturday, that's not easy either. So that's why there's such big parties when you win the league, because you have to go through so much to get there. And like you say, I think if we can get 3 points tomorrow, what a start to that little tough batch of games.
It's a massively leading question from me, and I understand that. But does tomorrow almost become must-win then, given everything? I
don't think it's a must-win. I think it'd be great if we win, if that makes sense. So, yeah, I wouldn't say it's a must-win, and I probably wouldn't say that even if it was. But I do think where we are in the league, at home, the gaffer coming back, big crowd, I think we've just got to go out there and give a performance.
Tom Whelan then. Why him?
I think he's a very, very good player. I think he was popular before with supporters and players alike. He's obviously gone to Eastleigh and played every minute, I think virtually of every game, takes corners, takes free kicks, takes penalties, so he's been the main man there. I think, you know, with the injuries we've got, I think the manager's highlight we need to get some bodies in, but not just bodies for the sake of it. Players that know what they're doing, and Tom's certainly one of them.
How important is it that he knows the place? Because essentially he's coming back, he's going to have to hit the ground running, and that prior experience won't do him any harm.
No, I think he knows the players, he knows obviously the place and the fans and the town, but I think more importantly he's coming back to help us. You know, he's coming to help a team at the top of the league. I'm sure that's probably his reason for why he wanted to leave Eastleigh was, you know, when he knew there was an interest maybe from us once he wanted to leave Eastleigh. You know, you don't get much better chances to get a promotion under belt and come on the team second in the league. So he'll be a great addition. I think he'll play a couple of positions in that midfield area, and wherever the manager decides to use him, I'm sure he'll benefit the team.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. Because of those reasons, where do you see him fitting in?
I just think anywhere in midfield, really. Obviously, that's the manager's decision where and how and if he uses him. But I think at Eastleigh, sometimes he played a bit deeper, sometimes he played off the front, drifted wide. He can do all those things. And his technical ability is very good. He's a fit, robust lad who knows the league really well, knows the players, knows the expectancy of this club and the crowd and the pressures it brings, and I'm sure he'll embrace him.
What's the deal then? How long have you got him for?
Not got a clue. Not got a clue on that. Yeah, not got a clue on that. Sorry.
So, generally speaking, then clearly this is one. Are you as a management staff maybe looking at one or two more then to help you get over the line? I
think the manager said this morning, you know, if you look, we've got some hard batch of games coming up, you know, and it's going to take a lot out of the boys. And with the injuries we've got, you know, we can't have a situation where we had Altrincham at home, we had 3 subs. So you can't go down that route again. You can't afford to do that now. So I think you know, he's obviously looking to maybe get a few more bodies in as well. But who they are, time will tell.
What have been the main messages that Paul Cook's been trying to get across this week, would you say?
He's focused a lot of work on the out possession stuff, how he wants us to set up. You know, obviously I think everyone knows how his team's set up. It's attractive, free-flowing football, attacking, you know, but he's really wanted to hit home about how he's set up behind the ball so we don't get counter-attacked. I suppose it's a big thing. We conceded a lot of late goals throughout the season, making sure that doesn't happen anymore. Just looking at the players, getting to know the way we work, getting to know the players' strengths and weaknesses. And I think the past week he's been there 9 days. He's really thrown himself into it, and so far the boys are loving it.
If there is to be a bit of a change in approach, whether that be formation or style, you know, given the success that you've already had and it's mid-season, is that not a bit of a risk?
I think with someone with that experience, you know, he would know sort of the level of risk of anything that's done. You know, we're second in the league. That's the thing that manager keeps saying to staff. So, well, I'm coming in here, but you know, you're second, and I'd be silly to chop and change everything. There's the tweaks he's made, the bits of tactical information, obviously, which will, you know, remain confidential. He's talked to me and the players. It's been really positive and things you maybe didn't think about before, and you need that new set of eyes to come in, especially that experienced set of eyes to come in and see things that you probably weren't looking at before to help you get over the line. So I think the whole point of the gaffer being and being brought in is to get us over the line, like I keep saying. And to do that, you don't just come in and just sit and go, oh, go on, you lot crack on with it. You influence, you have an input, and that's exactly what he's doing.
Do you think the players have got the ability and adaptability to potentially play a different way and a different formation? I
think with the players we've got, and they are good players, you're right, yeah, they can do and should be able to do different things. I think the question is that when you've been playing a certain way for a while, when's the time to change it? If there is a time to change it, if there isn't a time to change it, it's about timings, you know. No one will know that more than Paul Cook if he feels that's the thing to do at any given point. As I say, at the minute, the main thing he's come in is try to just put little drip feeds and information into the players within training sessions of things he wants to be done a little bit different or a little bit better, more like, because his standards are so high. So time will sort of tell if there are any changes, but at the moment, the influence he's having on us all is extremely positive.
And obviously, given the injury to Shamanga, is a striker a priority, do you feel?
I think at the minute we've got Quasi, Dents, Quiggs. You've got players that can then sort of play off the front, attacking midfielders, and I think the manager's main point at the moment is it's not fair to not give those players a chance. Like I said, there's no point having a squad and then your main man gets injured and go, well, actually, none of you lot can do it, so we're going to look elsewhere, because it just defeats the object of having a squad. So I'm sure that I know the manager is looking at all the squad we've got, giving them all a fair crack at the whip, and hopefully, players can step up and fill his very large boots.
Tom Whelan, then, was that a mistake to let him go in the summer?
I don't know. I mean, I can't comment on that, what decisions are made by people up above at that time. All I'll say is that from when I first came in, Tom was a great lad, good player. He's gone to Eastleigh, kicked on, become a main man at Eastleigh, and very well liked. I'm sure that he's now got ambitions to, after playing every week and being a main man somewhere, he now wants to get back to being in a team that's pushing for promotion, which we're certainly doing. So it's great to have him back on the pitch. As everyone knows, got great technical ability, great work ethic, and he's obviously got to bring that to the table when he steps on that pitch for us.
And with potentially a couple of players coming in then, is anyone going to be leaving?
Not that I know of at the moment. Not that I know of. I think the gaffer said that in a way it's pointless. You sort of one in, one out, because he's still got the small body. He's still got the situation with not many players. So we need to make sure that our squad doesn't get thinner, and then any additions we make are good ones.
Is there any further clarity on Luke Kroll's situation? I know after the Weymouth game you said you were sort of waiting for him to be assessed. Is there any sort of...
Yeah, he's been assessed, and that's a long termer, sadly. So that's going to be at least 2 to 3 months.
So that's his season pretty much done as well then?
Near enough.
And just finally, a couple of fans are asking about George Carline's progress. Obviously he's been out for a while. How's he doing? Yeah,
I mean, it was such a nasty injury he had, and it was a big operation. So like anything, there's little teething problems, I think, with the healing process with that, but nothing major. But yeah, it's nice those people are asking about him, because he was one of the first big ones, really, wasn't he, with the injuries, and he's such a good lad and a great player for us and a big miss. So he's another one, pre-season, I think, and he'll come back stronger.
So you don't think he'll make it this time around?
I think if you say to the players, aim for pre-season, anything's a bonus. I think the moment you start putting pressure on them to come back sooner and they don't hit those targets mentally, it kills them. And the mental welfare of players when they're not able to do the things they love is so important. So if it's earlier, fantastic. If it's pre-season, we're going to have another hell of a player coming back in that squad for pre-season training.